Good morning. Thank you for being with us here today. Today's talk is going to be how to keep a high frequency and resonate with your purpose. And nowadays, typically, a lot of people do talk about energy and, oh, I love the energy that this person has to that person. I love the energy of this place. But there's a lot of people who, it's words that we use, it's language becoming common. But how do we really know what that level of energy is? Well, we can have, create feelings around that energy. So I want to just cover some basics as to, first of all, each one of us. What are we composed of? Physically, we are cells, molecules, atoms, electrons, protons, neutrons, all these subatomic particles, and they all vibrate, okay? And they vibrate with what? Energy. So the whole universe is actually all about vibration, frequency. So the rate of vibration determines the frequency. We often express these things in hertz, and then that's the lower end, and we get into kilohertz, thousands of hertz, megahertz, millions of hertz, and then gigahertz into the billions of hertz, okay? So, so physically, we are energy, but then there's the other part of us, okay? On the non-material side, each of us has a spirit, a soul, mind, emotions, consciousness, and these are also resonating with energy. So quite often, when we are in a certain condition, it maybe amplifies, it represents itself at a level of the physical body, but the triggers could be at another level. It could be sort of our mindset on things that are creating things. We've been conditioned to maybe fear something, and we're viewing that kind of a condition, okay? Like for me, my whole body just vibrates differently when I'm going up to a high level and I'm kind of peeking over the edge. It just all of a sudden gives me this feeling of unease. And maybe for you it's something else. Some people thrive on that. They love skydiving. I've never done that. Or rock climbing the faces and so on. It's an adventure. So it's again based on how we manifest our fears from our exposure, perhaps in things that we've experienced in the past. So often to overcome and these fears, which also can be broken down in terms of false evidence appearing real. So, but again, we notice that we get this uneasiness, unease feeling within us, and so we resonate differently, or maybe even a weakness, or in case of often we have to control ourselves. What about you get a cut off in traffic, and rage will set in perhaps, and you'll raise your fist or do some other signs with your hands, and in that case, it raises and your adrenaline gets up, so physically you get affected. But it's first of all, it's how you respond mentally. Okay, so state of mind, it's very, very important. Okay, so what they also say about our stinking thinking. Okay, so sometimes we have to, hey, does what I'm thinking, does that actually stink? Does that serve my purpose? Okay, and so then it's kind of like when we're running things on a computer and we don't want it there, what do? We delete. So often when I'm working with individuals and there's physical manifestations and I listen to them and we get in a conversation, might ask some questions, and again, sometimes one of the very powerful questions is to challenge them with the question of, hey, when did you first begin to believe that? And often people do not realize. They just bought into an idea and they formulate all the conditions around that, their fears or their rages or whatever, and they've then locked into that state, and then they'll resonate anytime such a circumstance represents itself like. So for me, I've had to do a lot of unlearning of those things, because I know I got a lot of ideas from the past. In essence, we inherit, or we can inherit those things, and it's a good thing to identify as to where some of these things might come from. And if we can recognize the source of these things, it's not to model yourself off it. So rebuild yourself. Okay, so change your thinking, and then you can change the physical outcomes of that, and then change the condition. So it's very, very important that we do. Now, going back to looking at physically how we perhaps might test ourselves. How is the energy, or how do we know we are energy? And a simple test that I have for you is if you take your left hand and put the palm of your left hand down on top of your lap here, and then if you take the finger, your right finger like this, and just rotate it on top of the palm, like about an inch away, you can actually feel energy flowing from this finger. You can feel the rotating action of that energy in there. Okay. You can also do that if you were holding your hands together. You can kind of rub it together, and then you can just hold it like about an inch away. So separate the hands like that. You start feeling the energy between your hands. And so, when people do things like Reiki healing and they're using their hands, it's flowing the energy. Okay. So we can become vessels of flowing energy, and we know that in the human body, energy actually flows from left to right. Many of the tests that I do with the wand, certain things people cannot wear on the left side, they can wear it on the right side, and it has to do then also with the meridian lines that flow through the body. So quite often, if that affects the meridian line that controls the heart, that actually can manipulate the condition of the heart. And it's not about you maybe taking more vitamins, but sometimes, for example, they've recently released that these fit watches and so on, these mechanisms that we're thinking to help us monitor our sports activities are going to be helpful. But in fact, they've already recognized that, no, they're not so good. Why? Because it's sitting there and the releasing frequencies are going to be on your heart circuit. And I've seen this many times with even different kind of watches, but typically with a lot of the electronics that is there. So something as simple as that, you're trying to do the best and incorporate technology like a Fitbit. All of a sudden, negative responses occur. Okay, so watch again. You hear me often say in my other videos about, it's anything you put. So we are energy. Anything we put in our body, on our body, near our body. Okay, so energies are very, they're invisible. Okay, so these type of, we only see the results of energies. Like from electricity, we see light, we see things vibrate, we can hear music, perhaps sound from speakers, motors turn, and all this sort of stuff. But our energy, as it gets impacted, is perhaps by the state of well-being. Okay, so the higher we can resonate, the happier we are, the better it is. We become kind of like a transmitter and a receiver. Okay, so we are receiving, we're bringing energy into us through all these different things. Okay, and then again through the foods and the drinks, but also everything we're being bombarded by. And so since in the last 100 years we are incurring something like 200 million new frequencies, and a lot of them come from the electronics. They come in the form of electromagnetic fields, low level, high level, all these things, but they're disturbing the offsetting. And that's where you see incidences of thousands of birds dropping out of the sky. They're interrupting the biorhythms of the bodies, whether it's ours, the birds, and so on. And then we kind of get questioned as to what's going on, and massive research goes into it when really we actually already know, but we want hard, like concrete proof to this, so they'll spend millions, perhaps billions of dollars to do the research in this area. But because of our conditioning, our belief systems block an awful lot. So it's what you believe in, and the word belief, sometimes if it's a false belief, could become belie. You'd be bought into a lie. We can look at that some more. Another piece of evidence that we can have in terms of how our bodies are receivers and transmitters is the olden days TV, but I'm sure not too many people have rabbit ears or other TV antennas, but you could stand beside your TV and you could see a difference in how the signal is responding. I know that at one time we had a TV set up like that, and we had a dog, and we made the dog sit close to the TV antenna, and TV signal would improve. So human bodies, animal bodies, you know, again, we're transmitters and receivers of energy. So, okay, how do we want to resonate? And becoming more aware, and we are going to be all different, okay, in terms of how we're perhaps impacted. And so, you know, a simple thing, for example, I have some information that there was in 1992, there was a gentleman by the name of Bruce Taino, T-I-A-N-O, of Taino Technologies. They were an independent division of Eastern State University in Washington. They built the first frequency monitor in the world. Okay, so this is like a scientific piece of instrumentation that you know, a lot of people would kind of call it modern technology. Okay, and so when they tested foods, okay, processed and canned foods had near zero frequency, near zero vibration. So if you live on processed and canned foods, I mean, you're not putting energy in, it's actually robbing. So if I was to look at you holding up, I would take your energy field and you would hold up that can of processed food, the bag of chips, or whatever it might be, you will actually see how your energy field would also decline. The wands would just come clasped close this way, and I can walk straight up to your body and it would be near zero. Absolutely would be able to verify that. So then they examined fresh produce. It has vibration of about 15 hertz, okay, 15 cycles per second. They did dry herbs. That was 12 to 22, depending on the herbs. And then they did fresh herbs. They went from 20 to 27 hertz, okay? So again, the fresher things is life gives life, okay? So eating fresh off the tree, fresh out of your garden is probably the most profitable if you have the opportunity to do so. So I know that there's some people right now where you can even grow up your food indoors in these towers, okay, plants, and you get watered. And beautiful, they're great systems. And if you have the opportunity and you can consume some of these foods fresh like that, and you have the energy to do it, it's a wonderful system. So we are creative beings, and let our creative energies flow, and then we can utilize. So we can, you know, it's when we have a problem, quite often we have to think out of the box. And when we do that, then, you know, we come up with new ideas, okay? And it's great. So we are meant to all be creators. And by the way, if you have any kind of comments or questions that we can perhaps work with you with while we're doing this live broadcast, please send them to us. Okay, so everything has vibration. And then we get here, the other thing that they tested was essential oils, okay? And good essential oils have very high frequencies, okay? And essential oils are extracts from seeds, from barks, and so on. And they're like the heart of the plant, okay? So essential oils, their frequencies start at 52 hertz. So certainly if you want to elevate your vibration, incorporation of some form, you know, like even lavender has such a wide use, okay, but you know, you can use peppermint and just different things. But yeah, good quality essential oils can be very helpful. And you can use them, you can hang a little infuser around your neck, holder, and then as the diffuser, as it releases some of the aroma from it, as it's under your nose, you would be breathing that in all day. So it's a very good way of, a very smart way of dealing with that and infusing your body with high frequencies, particularly if you're in an area where there is a lot of maybe negative, where the air is perhaps not good and so on. Well, guess what? So essential oil frequencies start at 52 hertz and go as high as 320 hertz. Now, which happens to be the frequencies of rose oil. Okay, so these again, you can put it into your skin. You can dilute them with maybe a carrier oil. You can drink it, okay? So inhale it, rub it in, drink it, many different forms. Or like I say, you can have a little diffuser you can hang off your neck as a pendant, and then it just releases some of the energy all day long. So, okay. Well, thank you for this question. If you believe canned food is giving you energy, will you be energized because of your belief? Yes, there'll be some level of energy coming in that because your belief is very, very powerful. But still, there's a physical need that your body needs. So, this is where we can even get the placebo effects. But our physical body needs basic components. Okay, and so yes, on the short term, absolutely. Okay, your belief system, and there is such a thing as Bruce Lipton's book, The Biology of Belief. Okay, you can set it up, your body to resonate in a whole different level. But again, we still have physical needs, so it's good to do that. But yeah, it's certainly, we can change the energy, and as we talk about, with the hands, feeling the energy and putting the hands together. I know that just kind of recently developed for me, but where I was given the opportunity, I was testing some person's jewelry, and there was a piece of jewelry that was left by grandmother, and when we checked the jewelry, somehow the energy didn't quite resonate with the person. But intuitively, I felt that I could help and change that. And so I took that piece of jewelry, I placed it in my hands, and I put intentions into it as well, okay? And so with that, I was able to change the energy and remove the bad energy or the negative energy that was within that piece of jewelry, okay? And it's just something that I've done a few times now, knowing that if I'm led to be able to do that, that this can happen too. So it's very powerful what you're saying, our belief system. Okay, it can manifest so many different things. And yes, physical changes can occur. And just keep on doing it. So if that's your only source, if you were just to live on canned food, I would say absolutely. Pray over your food, whatever. Bless the food so that your body can be fortified from that, because we can change the vibrations of things, absolutely. So thank you for posting that question. Going back, for example, there's a lot of things we do sort of like automatically. So in this particular deal where they did this experiment, they had two men, and they checked their frequencies. Their rate was around 66 hertz. That's kind of a normal rate, 66 hertz. And then they took 2 cups of coffee, and one person held the coffee. And within 3 seconds, his vibration dropped to 58. And the other person drank the coffee, and within 3 seconds, his vibration dropped to 52. So we get impact again. When I keep on saying whatever we put in, on, near our bodies has an impact. And particularly we do things sort of like unconsciously almost sometimes, right? We just automatically on autopilot, okay, yeah, give it to me, we put it in. And so it's better to be more conscientious about things that we're doing and allowing it to impact. You're moving into some place, you're looking, you're observing, and being in that state of mind, we can shift, okay? We can shift things around there, okay? And at least bring up our own energy, our bioenergy field, so that we have more of a shield out there. So we can do a lot of things physically. That's why I believe in wearing the tourmaline, for example, for balancing chakra and enhancing my energy field. That's why I keep my little energy cards. I keep OGs in my pocket. Okay, this is all I'm moving, I'm busy, I'm doing things, I'm allowing my life force, my bioenergy field to just stay out there all the time. At the same time, with my intentions that I can go forth on a daily basis, which, by the way, I always first thing, I always put myself, I'm a student, okay? And I want to learn as much as I can learn, and I can learn from everyone. I can learn from every circumstance. So put myself there as a state of learning. I'm always looking at how I can feed myself with knowledge, and then energy needs to flow. So the knowledge that comes to me, typically that again, why I'm doing these broadcasts is just simply to share. And I also want to bring before you that I'm only scratching the surface of so many of these things. Okay, there are people in many areas that know way more, but whatever I know, I'm going to put it out. I'm going to just share it with you, and maybe it will help you on your journey as well, or allow you to share that with other people. Okay, so energy has to flow. Okay, and whatever energy it is, bring the energy through you and let that energy come out. Okay, so we talk about how coffee, holding that, can drop it. Drinking it can change, so you can see more physical changes to it. And so what they've said even that typically what they found with people with a common cold, their vibration goes down to 58 hertz. So we go from an average of 66, which is decent, healthy, down to, healthy body range, 62 to 72, okay? That's where you need to be. So if it drops to 58, you're more susceptible to colds and so on. And they found that in their research with cancer, the body vibration drops all the way down to 42 hertz. Okay, and I can concur when I've worked with people that have, become very sick. Okay, how the energy field in some people like drop down to 1 foot with my wands, or 4 feet, and that's really low, right? And so that puts your whole body's operation in low vibration, and it becomes then difficult for your body to be really in a healing mode. So we then gotta, put on near our bodies things that can help raise your vibration. So if you live near a park or, trees anywhere, that can serve you really well. Go out, and as much as you want to go hug the other person, go and hug a tree. It will feed you some good energy. We've done this with the wands. Touch the tree, hug the tree, and you see how your bioenergetic field. So there's simple tips. Or, people talk about grounding, okay? Take off your shoes, stand on the grass, walk in the sand, if you're near a beach or wherever, anywhere in a park, anywhere where it's safe to do so, okay? Expose your body, ground yourself to things, okay? So whether it's from the feet, and one thing we do know about the feet is the most porous part of your skin, okay? It absorbs things quite readily through the feet, so anytime you can put things, oils, doesn't matter what it is, on the feet, and it immediately, you can put a piece of garlic on your feet, and within like 5 to 10 minutes, your breath is starting to smell like garlic as well, okay? So as they teach in traditional Chinese medicine, feet first, I'm 100% with it. I put a lot of effort into people's feet because everything is definitely connected. And the more I do this, the more I discover how important and how fundamental the feet are. It is your foundation. You stand on it, you move on it. The feet deteriorate, you also will have less quality. So honor them, treat them well, take good care of your feet. Watch the shoes you wear, and watch even the sources that manufacture, okay? Because what I've also been discovering is that people have sometimes bought very expensive shoes, but these could have been manufactured on third world nations where these people are basically being paid slave labor, okay? So when the energy that goes into these things that are really not good, okay, not supportive of other people's survival, okay, we have to always keep that in mind, right? It's not me, okay? Live in a very selfish world, and whatever happens over there, just got to remember, we're all part of the same, okay? We're all part of consciousness, we're all one, and everything in the quantum world is connected. So we need to think as much as what's happening to these people. And the easiest way to change your dynamics, you might feel like you're the pebble in the pond, create a little bit of a ripple effect. But that little bit that you do, that is energy that's going to keep on flowing out, okay? And that can change. And so as consumers, as we keep on buying and spending money on things, keep in mind too, as to what is at the heart and the nature of the company that's involved in producing these goods that they want us to sell. They do tremendous marketing jobs, okay? A lot of billions of dollars into it and creating all kinds of images. And of course, a lot of this might look glamorous, what's presented to us, but what's the cost behind that, okay? If it's all for the sake of the love of money and not for humanity at large, okay, and it's for survival of the other people, then if the heart is not in there, you'll find that the energy that's gone into the product perhaps could be very negative. I've seen the outcome of that. Very expensive goods, but you know about the company, how it's been produced. Very true, okay? So shoes, and this is where I found it. People wearing shoes pay $200 for nice runners, and they might look good, but the energy is bad. Again, you wear them on your feet, all the points, all the reflexology points, all the points connected to the rest of your body are located where? In your feet. So when you wear these shoes, it can suck the life force in it, because the energy that went into making those things, not just the material, not just even the geometrics, okay? There's just bad energy that went into it. So give that some thought, okay? And this sometimes is really profound thinking, okay? But it's again, it's in that. And I've learned just so much about this. Is, oh my goodness, is that really so? But I've just seen it over and over. And then when we get the evidence at those levels, you know, and again, whatever can be measured can be managed, and we can then see this. This can allow us to also be transformed. So I'm only speaking from the level from what I'm experiencing, and I'm just sharing it from the heart. Allow this to become your own information, okay? And because sometimes what has happened is this information, it's knowledge. It may just become common knowledge. But this knowledge, once it precipitates and it gets to your heart, then you feel maybe much more convicted. And then through those convictions, you can then create different behavior, a different outcome. And that different outcome, it's your energy. And so when we're talking about, you know, living with intentions and purposes, we can make those purposes stronger, you know. It's those things become life. They're not just ideas. And again, I often say life gives life. So we're consuming dead things. It takes the life out of us. And the more we are able, from the level of, again, ideas, our thinking, our belief systems, allow that to alter as well. And something I share, and just shared again this morning, is we get a viewpoint on certain things, okay? And it's based on maybe what we've experienced, what we've seen. But I'll create a scenario, an idea. But if there was, like, we've got a big intersection, it's a busy intersection here. And if you had 4 people standing on each corner and there was a collision, okay, an accident, whatever, took place, and there's some ramifications from it, damages, each person was to offer their viewpoint, their opinion on it. There's certain things that are going to be, they are going to have in common, but there's probably going to be some differences. And maybe from one angle to the next, there could be some very extreme differences in what they saw, right? But you got to have the whole picture. It's got to be all well-rounded in order to form then your opinion. And so often we see it only from one perspective on things. So this is where it becomes very powerful that, you know, we got to bring all the facts to the table. What can we see, right? So yes, there's a component of faith, okay? We can live by faith, absolutely, but if now we are being exposed to more facts, let's examine the facts too. And very often, and what I love is that I can test a lot of the facts using my wands as well. And then I can see how that resonates, okay? So because if things don't quite resonate well with you, like you get this gut feeling, okay, you got this knowledge, you think in something, but you get a gut feeling, but the gut feeling is off. And the heart is maybe not connected to. Let it come together so that you can be at peace about it. So you get the brain, so the mindset, the heart, and the gut all kind of feeling at ease. And there's this very strong connection between the brain and the gut. And I was taught a lesson here last week about that, a reminder of how strong that can be. I ate something, and in that, about an hour after I munched on something, I started feeling very uneasy in my stomach. And that doesn't happen to me very often. So I know when these things occur to me, is always have to take that viewpoint as to, okay, I'm going to learn something from this and be reminded. Anyways, so took it, gut felt uneasy, my head started feeling uneasy, kind of got a little dizziness from it. And next thing is, I felt like I maybe had to throw up. And in fact, I did just a small amount, but I immediately reverted to activated charcoal. Okay, so there's always answers as to. So took a few capsules of the activated charcoal and downed it, and then within a half an hour, my stomach had settled down. Okay, so what happened here is then, you know, you get an upset stomach, but the head doesn't start feeling good. Okay, kind of get a little bit of a dizziness around that. Very strong connected. Okay, and it happens at different levels. You maybe don't feel good emotionally, something is going on in your gut, it can affect your brain. Vice versa, we get ideas. So we eat food, we're very angry, your digestion can also be off, okay? So always, you know, again, it's how do you raise and resonate at a higher level? Be more conscious of all these things, okay? We're not just machines, things going in and out of us, okay? But it's the things we feed ourselves mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you know, because these can all contain triggers. They could be toxic things, okay? So we always think of physical toxins, but a lot of these other things are also toxins. So I think that's huge. So our overall well-being, typically when we need help, we think of more of a physical, and there's the physiological outcome of some of these things. And I find it quite interesting that, again, working through the layers, you'll unblock the physical pain, but sometimes in conversations, people are all of a sudden, they get this release, and then they're willing to talk about things that are the real triggers behind the physical manifestations. And now they're in a bigger way of healing, okay? So you gotta heal at all levels. If it's not just the physical thing, there's other things. So more facts we have, more information, and so we become just facilitators. I feel myself, I'm just a facilitator. I'm there, you know, and it's gotta be like a heartfelt thing too. And again, when our heart gets involved in things, and we really come from the heart to want to help, then, you know, you do it out of love, you don't do it for the sake of the money. It makes a huge difference, okay? Because it's like, again, the intention that you're working with an individual, whatever level you're working with them, okay? Whether you're serving them as a client in maybe a sales process, or are you there just to make the money for yourself, for the company? And of course, you've got a job to do. But for me, I feel much more empowered in doing what I'm doing, because I did that all before. Is what am I doing? Why am I doing it? It's got to be all win-win, right? In the end, yes, energy's got to flow. So if this is your job, this is what you got to do. You go in with high intentions, high purpose to do the best, and then things will definitely come back, and it's great. I've been rewarded many times by just trusting this kind of a process. No, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to do the best that I can do. And sometimes it just doesn't necessarily come back in a cash financial way, but you can be rewarded in many different ways, and it's wonderful to be open to experience this. And I know that if you have a job, of course, you have to always allow yourself to, do the best that you can do for the company, but keep the heart in it at all the time. So everything has frequency, every object, and this is why it's always about creating balance, okay? Good energies, so allow ourselves to be good energies, and the energies that we're bombarded with, if they're not good energies, how do you change some of that? And this is where I'm always in a continuous search of providing. For me, number one, I do things, I want to test things, energy cards, orgone generators, crystals, stones, oils, it's like essential oils. There's many different things. And people come and contact me and ask me to test things, and I will. I'm always keep an open mind. Okay, let me check it, let me test it, see how it resonates with me and how it resonates with my rods, my wands. You've seen those yellow things on my other videos. If you haven't, go there and check some of the things. I learned something every week with them. Sometimes every day, new things are being exposed, new ideas. And I feel I become more sensitive. Put those things in my hands, I start to feel just a lot of things. And it's amazing how this can grow. In the last 2 years, I've done a lot of growing, a lot of amazing things have been given to me, basically. Okay, so if you have a gift, whatever that might be, and truly that gift can be there to help serve humanity, other people, besides just yourself, okay, then use it, okay? Start going out in it. And it, again, for me, it was like, even when I was confronted with the opportunity to acquire those wands, which I got off of eBay, and at the price that they were there, $99, $93, or $53 US, forget what it was exactly, but it was under $100. And I'm kind of like, there's got to be something wrong, because I was offered these before for a couple $1,000s, and now I'm looking at, they got to be broken. I was looking at it just simply as technology, But anyway, so I went there. There was like 3 minutes left. And okay, I have nothing to lose. Let's just get it. So that was like a step of faith in the back of my mind before. These might be broken. So paid that with shipping, $30, whatever it was. Got it in my hands and put them in there. For the first few minutes, they just kind of flopping around all over. They weren't like, did these work? Maybe they are broken. And then within 5 minutes, all of a sudden, I felt the energy shift, and they started to align. And I felt, okay, balance with these now. And that's kind of like, okay, this is great. I think I can work with these. So again, that was a step in faith as well. Moving forward, just testing all kinds of things, all kinds of possibilities. So again, often we're thinking, and maybe you're listening to what I'm saying. This is impossible, but just change those dynamics. Keep on saying, like, this is impossible. Make it, I am possible, okay? And that shift in your thinking can lead you to, better ways perhaps, okay? For me, it certainly has, and so haven't had that opportunity created a huge mind shift about things. And it teaches me. They've become my biggest teachers, and you know, given me, what can I say, more heart for things, wanting to know things, and wanting to share things. And that's why I'm here. Just as I'm learning, when I first started on this journey, I knew very little. And that's going back about 46 years ago. I was just like everybody else, just being a consumer, a junk food junkie essentially before in my teenage years. And now I've become much more conscious about everything. And they're certainly creating a higher level of awareness. So lots to talk about, lots to share. And we hope to kind of, as we come through, we're going to pick up some more topics. We've got some very interesting things that are in development that we're going to be able to share with you on future dates. So thank you once again for being with us here this morning. And I trust that what I was able to share from my heart will allow you to perhaps explore your own journey, and so that we can all start working and resonating at a higher frequency with much more purpose and be a help to others. So thank you for being with us. Have a great day. Goodbye.